Well, we are going to start off this Chris 6 Sunrise with a look at our Snoopy's Sky Cam. Thanks to our friends over at Matthews CCAC for this one. The winter weather is here, and it's soggy out there. How long can we expect this weather to stick around? Meteorologist Stephen Jones is going to join us and has a look at what to expect as you may make your way out the door.
And there are some road closures that could affect your drive this week. We have a look at where they are and how long they're expected to last.
A small Westside church takes on a proposed bar just feet from their sanctuary and wins. I'm Jada Jenkins with why city leaders back the church and what pastors hope for next.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday and welcome to Chris 6 Sunrise. You're waking up with the Hoffmans. I'm Michelle Hoffman.
And I'm Brian Hoffman. I know it is tough getting back into the swing of things, into the work week after an extended holiday that some of you had off, but we can do it together, folks, and with a little bit of help from meteorologist Stephen Jones. How you doing this morning, buddy?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Not too bad, you guys. How are you doing after a pretty nice weekend?
Yeah, it was
really
a lot
full.
of relaxing.
Really full,
too.
Absolutely. The leftovers, they're just there. They're going to be hard to get through. But I think, it's looking like a pretty good day to maybe start eating up on some of those leftovers. And as we look at the traffic flow out there, starting off our December 1st in a pretty good way with plenty of greens on the board. So let's get into it here, starting off with the new Harbor Bridge to and from Portland this morning. Plenty of greens. It's going to be good if you're heading out that way. Now over into Corpus Christi, no major slowdowns to report as of right now on Ocean Drive or SBID, Saratoga, and Crosstown Expressway. All four coming in the clear this morning if you're going to be hitting those roadways. Now over towards Flower Bluff Drive looking nice and green, although Waldron Road, a medium slowdown there just to account for a couple of extra minutes, as well as the normal slowdown we see most mornings as you work closer to the gates at the Naval Air Station. Over towards the island, not too bad either, just a minor slowdown there along SPID. So really, as we look at those drive times, wherever you're coming from and going to this morning, going to be a good and green morning to head out and kick off your December.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Appreciate you. So we're going to check back in with you in just a little bit. But first, a Rockport man is facing multiple charges after being accused of waving a firearm in front of a church. That all happened just after 10 Sunday morning. According to Rockport police, they responded to a call of an armed individual over at a church on FM 1781. Now, the suspect on Wynn was arrested, and a firearm was recovered from his car. Now, Wynn is being charged with deadly conduct and unlawful possession of a firearm. And one person is dead after an accident in Jim Wells County. According to Texas Department of Public Safety, it happened just Saturday afternoon around 12:45. That's just north of Highway 44 in Jim Wells County. And no word yet on what caused this accident or if anyone else was injured.
In your national headlines, Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with a Ukrainian delegation in Florida Sunday as peace talks to end the war with Russia continue. Work is still being done to hammer out the details of a 28-point plan. It has drawn criticism for proposing Ukraine make major concessions to Russia. Over the weekend, Secretary Rubio, who was accompanied by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, focused on reassuring Ukraine that it would be prosperous after the war. The head of Ukraine's Security Council responded by expressing his country's appreciation for U.S. efforts. And plans for Border Patrol operations in New Orleans are expected to begin sometime this week. That's according to a senior Homeland Security official. 250 Border Patrol agents were detailed to the operation in New Orleans as of last week. The exact duration of the operation is not known, but it is expected to be relatively short.
A small Westside church says they've won a big battle after City Council voted on November 18th to deny a variance for a proposed bar just feet from their sanctuary. The church, Alpha y Omega Iglesia de Cristo, told city leaders they've spent years dealing with issues from previous nearby bars, from vandalism to public mess left at their door. Church leaders say they believe their small congregation was overlooked until they spoke up. And neighbors also raised concerns about parking and safety for elderly residents living behind the building. The church has stood on Southport Avenue for more than 25 years, and members say protecting their space was worth the fight. They add they're looking forward to seeing what business may occupy the building next.
So there's going to be some road closures starting up this week that may affect you. Take a look. Starting today, construction crews will be working on Norton Street near Castores. Now, traffic will be down to one way going westbound between Cambridge Road and Castores. Access to both Sam Houston Elementary School and nearby residences will remain available, though. Construction is expected to last through February. This is all part of the ongoing water infrastructure improvements in the area. And if you live or drive on the city's south side, one southbound lane on South Staple Street is closed for utility line repair work between Timbergate Drive and Lipes Boulevard. Two-way traffic is allowed on the remaining lanes of South Staple Street during the construction period. The closure is expected to continue throughout tomorrow.
Well, good morning and happy Monday and happy December 1st there, Coastal Bend. I'm meteorologist Stephen Jones, taking a live look out at our USS Lexington cam brought to us by First Community Bank. Plenty of cloud cover you can see on the screen. A little bit of rain out there, but the aquarium still nice and lit up this morning with a few cars hitting the Harbor Bridge for that Monday morning commute, but nice and chilly out there in the 40s, if not the lower 50s. What to expect for the rest of today? Well, we're going to be seeing those isolated showers around, but they're going to be drying up as we head into the afternoon, so don't expect too much as you're heading out of work later today. Those northerly winds also going to be sticking around today and for tomorrow. That's going to keep us nice and cool, only chasing about the low to mid 50s for some of those daytime highs for our Monday on this December 1st. Feeling much more like the season though, with those temperatures right now coming in at 45 up in Beeville, Robstown at the 49-degree mark. Hebronville off to the southwest 50 degrees, then 51 for Ingleside, Port Aransas, and the Naval Air Station as we're going through the 6 a.m. hour. And as we look at that dog walking forecast, we've got Thor and Celeste today. Not too bad, ready to go for their walk around the block right here into Nueces County. And looking at those temperatures, only the upper 40s, if not the lower 50s, as we head through about that lunchtime hour. Wind's going to be out of the north as well. A nice chilly breeze, about 10 to 15 miles an hour. The daytime high, though, only expected to get up into those lower 50s, really only a few more degrees to go after that lunchtime hour, pushing 53 degrees. And like we talked about, going to see the cloud cover all day, but the rain should be stopping as we head towards lunch and into the afternoon. Daytime highs around the area, chasing 51 in Rockport, but then a good 7-degree spread as you work your way off to the south. Hebronville coming in about 58, but no 60s on the board. Definitely going to be a below average Monday as we're rolling through it. In the wake of that cold front that did work through yesterday morning, all of the Lone Star State pretty much getting a good taste of some of that chilly air, with some of that rain making its way up as far as San Antonio currently, but expected to see it work off towards the east later today. For our upper level pattern, this is that reinforcing shot of cool air that's keeping us cool early this week, but the main story going to be as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. This next trough of low pressure going to be working in sending that next cold front our way. So Wednesday going to be in the 70s, but by the time we're heading into Thursday and Friday, that's where we see the 60s and the 50s make their return for some of those daytime highs. For the current Doppler radar, no major downpours out there, but plenty of greens on the board currently where we're seeing those specks. So you could see some spots on the windshield as you're heading out there for that morning commute, but don't expect too much flooding or any of that nature as we're heading out the door. But as we go through the rest of the day, all of that activity, like we talked about, should shift off to the east into the Gulf, leaving the cloud cover in its wake before that even wipes off the board heading into tomorrow. So more sunshine could be expected for our Tuesday, but still going to be nice and chilly tomorrow with that high pressure in the area and that reinforcing shot of cool air. So going to be a pretty pleasant day, I'd say, as we head into tomorrow, and then even warmer as we head into Wednesday before we see that roller coaster effect start to take its effect going in through the rest of the week. And here's where that really starts off with that cold front working in, dropping us to the 50s by Friday. A little bit more rain on the board, and we'll take every drop we can get before more roller coaster on the way back into the upper 70s by Sunday, and current indications putting us going back into the 60s by early next week.
Could the future of internet access be at stake? Coming up after the break, Scripps News Group's Joe St. George will break down today's Supreme Court case. Welcome back, folks. 6:12 is your time on this Monday morning as we are taking a live look from our Snoopy Skycam. Thanks to our friends over at Matthews CCAC for this one. Meteorologist Stephen Jones is standing by with a look at your soggy forecast this morning. But first, we have some national headlines to get to. So, illegal music downloads have been an issue impacting the music industry for years, since the early days of Napster. But who is actually responsible for piracy? To talk more on this, we're bringing on in our Deputy Political Director, Joe St. George.
Yeah, good morning, Joe. So the Supreme Court is set to decide who is responsible when it comes to internet piracy. Can you tell us more about today's case and how it could impact internet access going forward?
Yeah, I'd file this under a sleeper case, right? Not a lot of people talking about it, but the implications for the internet, the repercussions for internet access could be massive here. You guys set it up perfectly at the top. This is about an issue that's a tale as old as time, right? It's a big issue impacting the internet. It has since the days of dial-up, and that is illegal music downloads. Now, recording labels, artists, they've been trying to crack down on this for decades because of the loss of revenue that illegal downloads cause. This lawsuit being brought forth in the beginning by Sony, but dozens of other recording labels have joined this suit over the years. Now, in practicality, legal experts will say recording labels can't go after individual copyright violators. It would just be too laborious. So instead, what the music industry is attempting to do is go after internet providers and say, internet providers, those that provide access to all of us, needed to have a higher threshold, needed to crack down on illegal downloads, copyright infringements more. That's the backstory to this case. Specifically, it's dealing with Cox Internet, arguing Sony has that Cox needed to do more, that at one point 21% of all of their peer-to-peer sharing files were being done, that their lack of involvement on this issue resulted in even more violations down the line. This is why it matters. Internet companies, Cox, has said if they are found liable here, and lower courts have ordered them to pay $1 billion worth of damages, then that they would need to take steps to cut off the internet for potential violators. So think about this. Maybe you have a big meeting coming up, a big Zoom at 1 o'clock. Your son, who's teenage years, does something perhaps infringement-wise upstairs. Imagine losing your internet like that because of a potential copyright violation. They have gone so far as to say hospitals could lose internet access because patients may be doing something illegal on the internet. You see how this gets complicated quickly. Oral arguments taking place today at the Supreme Court. We're not going to get a decision here for several months. Again, a sleeper of a case, but one with potentially massive implications.
Yeah, we are not part of the problem. Apple Music, no. Pandora, we're good. Thank you so much, Joe.
Yeah, appreciate your time, sir. Looking forward to talking
We
again.
are legal. We are legally sound.
Yes.
Same.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, sir. We'll talk to you again soon.
Well, hey there, and good Monday morning, Coastal Bend. I'm meteorologist Stephen Jones, taking a live look at our Snoopy's Pier Skycam. Thanks to Matthew CCAC. A bit of a cloudy morning out there, also cool at 51 degrees and breezy with those winds out of the north coming in at 17 miles an hour right now, but we're going to take every drop we can get. Also happy to see some rain on the board because we've still got about 10 inches to go to make up for our 2025 rainfall deficit. For our temperatures out there, currently sitting at 45 up in Beeville, 47 to the west there in Freer. Along the coast, just a slightly warmer at 51 for Ingleside, Port Aransas, and the Naval Air Station. 50, the number we're watching for out in Hebronville right now. And as we get a good look at some of our neighborhood temperatures, even a little cooler out there. Starting off with the south side, you can see coming in at 44 degrees over there on San Benito Drive. 44, pretty common number out there with a couple 43s as well. 42, the number out there on Southampton Drive. So pretty chilly air that we're starting off our Monday with. Also up into Beeville, some of those 30s making their return to the board. 39 in Beeville on our Tempest temperatures, 38 up there on Farm to Market, 504. So pretty chilly air, definitely feeling much more like December here in the Coastal Bend. Planning out the rest of our day, daytime highs only going to be in those lower 50s, feeling like the upper 40s thanks to the northerly breeze around 10 to 15 miles an hour. And any rain that we're seeing should really be isolated to the morning hours. By the afternoon, should only be left with that cloud cover in its wake. For the wind gusts, though, going to be a little bit breezier, even picking up slightly as we head into the overnight hours towards that 20 to 25 mile an hour mark. So as we go through today, a little bit less breezy than yesterday, but still either way, not completely down to that 10 to 15 mile an hour mark that we're more accustomed to. For the big weather picture, we had that cold front work through yesterday in all of the Lone Star State, getting a good taste of that chilly air. Around Corpus Christi, still dealing with some of those isolated showers though, but those should continue off towards the east as we work into the afternoon. For our upper level pattern, this reinforcing shot of cold air going to keep us nice and cool into tomorrow. But by the middle of the week, this next trough of low pressure going to send a good cold front our way as we go into Thursday morning pretty early. And that's where we're going to get chilly again going into Thursday, and then especially into Friday. Looks like the 50s could make their return, and that's going to cause a bit of a roller coaster pattern on the forecast. High temperatures, we're going to go up by Wednesday, then back down by Friday, right back up into those 70s as we go into Sunday. And then early next week, looks like we could be starting back into the 60s once again. So like I said, I think that's just the perfect term for it, a little bit of a roller coaster pattern with our temperatures. And the Doppler radar showing you just a little bit of that spotty activity remaining on the board, going to continue to work its way out of the area as we roll into the afternoon. And with the rest of the 7-day forecast, luckily we do have some more rain chances on the board as we head into the back half of the work week. The only thing really to worry about just going to be those temperatures as we go into the 70s, the 50s, then back to those upper 70s by Sunday.
Hey, it is a Monday, and we are going to be checking in on all of those gas prices, making sure that your dollar can go as far as your car. All those when we come back. Welcome back, folks. Start of a brand new week. Let's make sure your gas tanks are filled up. I'm tracking all the prices around the coastal bend as well as national fluctuations across the country. Well, let's take a quick look at that, though. According to Gas Buddy, we're looking at $2.95. No change since Friday, although it's still good to see it under that $3 mark. As for our Texas average, the Lone Star State seeing $2.51. That's actually down by 5 cents since Friday. Good news there. We can do better here in the Coastal Bend, though. Cheapest I was able to find, according to Gas Buddy, is $2.44. That is over off the Murphy Express, I should say, off of Saratoga. That's the cheapest here in Corpus Christi. What about our Portland friends? Well, check it out. A couple cents cheaper, $2.41 at the Murphy USA. That's one right there next to the Walmart. And for our island friends, you know you're always going to be paying a little bit more, right? We're sitting at $2.55. That is at the Valero on SPID and 361, just as you're heading on up to Port A. As always, you can find cheaper prices, and these guys might want to stop and fill up while you can. And I'll have all of these, actually I just posted, on our website. That's christv.com.
Well, hey there, and good Monday morning, and happy December 1st, Coastal Bend. Taking a live look out at our USS Lexington cam. Thanks to First Community Bank, a bit of a cloud cover out there to worry about, but luckily not too much rain out there in terms of downpours to slow you down as you hit the roadways. But looking at the Harbor Bridge, nice and smooth traffic out there flowing right now, and really across the entire Corpus Christi area, plenty of greens on the board. Exactly what we'd like to see, just like what we saw on the Skycam to and from Portland this morning. If you're taking the Harbor Bridge, going to flow across it pretty nicely. And as we look into Corpus Christi, Ocean Drive, SPID, and Crosstown Expressway, no major slowdowns to report. A minor slowdown on Saratoga as you're coming up to Rod Field. Only thing to count a couple extra minutes for. Over into Flower Bluff Drive, good and green. Waldron Road, a couple extra minutes there with that slowdown. And finally over towards the island, plenty of greens on the board here. Only a minor slowdown there at the lights. So really, wherever you're coming from and going to, going to be a good and green morning to head out there and kick off your Monday as well as your December.
I'm John Matarese. We all want a phone battery that'll last as long as possible. So do the new iPhones actually live up to the hype? We'll find out.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Well, hey there, and good Monday morning, Coastal Bend. Taking a live look out at Snoopy's Skycam. Thanks to Matthew CCAC, quite a bit of cloud cover out there as we're taking a live look out there, but pretty chilly at 48 degrees and a few drops of rain as well on the Skycam. Luckily, no major downpours right now, but you could see some of those spotty showers as we're going through the day. Really what we're looking at to expect for the rest of the day, those showers that are around should be ending as we roll out for lunch and into the afternoon, but the cool temperatures with the cloud cover are going to be sticking around, only chasing those low to mid 50s for some of those daytime highs as we roll into the afternoon. And that northerly breeze in the wake of our cold front going to be sticking around today as well as into tomorrow, keeping us nice and cool. So for those current temperatures, sitting at 46 up in Beeville, 47 over in George West. As we work our way over to Port Aransas, coming in at 50 degrees. That's going to be the same for Alice as well as Hebbronville as we work off towards the southwest, and getting a closer look at some of those tempest temperatures in our neighborhood weather network. You can see on the south side, side even cooler than that 49-degree mark. 42 going to be the coolest spot over on the south side coming in from Southampton Drive right now. It's 44 over in San Benito Drive, 43 down there in Garden Court. And as we work up to Beeville, even getting a couple of those 30s on the board. 38 over there on Farm to Market 504, 39 the number in Beeville on our Tempest temperature weather network. So pretty chilly air to start off our Monday and December here in the Coastal Bend. For our dog walking forecast today, we've got Thor and Celeste on the board, ready to go on their walk around the block right here in Nueces County. And those temperatures for them only going to be in the upper 40s, if not those lower 50s as we roll into the lunch hour, with plenty of cloud cover and those winds out of the north 10 to 15 miles an hour, picking up just a little bit as we roll into the afternoon, but overall not going to be too bad, with daytime highs chasing about 53 degrees. By 3 p.m., those winds, like we talked about, going to be sticking around just a 10 to 15 mile an hour mark, and those isolated showers should be leaving us as we roll into the afternoon, but the gusts of those winds are going to pick up just a little bit, especially as we head into the overnight hours. Still going to be out of the north, but picking up towards that 20 to 25 mile an hour mark, so maybe a little bit breezier. Either way, I think it's going to be a little lighter than what we saw yesterday. For the current big weather picture, we did see that cold front work through pretty much the entire Lone Star State. All of us getting a good taste of that chilly air with higher pressure working into the area, but as we go into the next few days, already got our eyes on that next trough of low pressure really working in by the Wednesday to Thursday time frame. That's where we're going to see that next cold front arrive into our area, cooling us off pretty nicely. Going to see a bit of a roller coaster effect, but most of the next 10 days going to remain below average, so nice and cool temperatures to be expected here in the Coastal Bend. For our current Doppler radar, just that spotty isolated shower activity is what we're watching. Maybe a little bit more activity getting ready to work into the Corpus Christi area, but like we talked about, as we work into the afternoon, should be drying up with just the cloud cover in its wake before even that leaves us as we go into the overnight hours. And for our Tuesday, going to see more of that sunshine on the board, just with the reinforcing shot of cold air and that northerly breeze that we're going to see going into tomorrow. Still going to remain pretty cool as we go into tomorrow as well, and really only going to see those 50s, if not the lower 60s for that daytime high. 73 by Wednesday before that next cold front wipes us right back down into the 50s as we roll into Friday with a few more rain chances on the board. Then that roller coaster effect really comes into play as we head back towards the upper 70s heading into the weekend.
They're often texts or emails, sometimes phone calls, but a Maryland woman said a fake courier came to her home demanding payment for a package she never ordered.
Okay, so maybe you've ordered your gifts, now you're just waiting for them to land on your doorstep. But as you scroll through delivery updates mixed in with the real notifications, there's some very convincing fake ones. Scripps News Group Mallory Sophus-Dice shows us how scammers are posing as major delivery companies to steal your information as we count down the 12 scams of Christmas.
I'm Mallory Sophus-Dice in Baltimore. As you track your holiday packages this year, watch for fake shipping notifications. They often come by email or text, but a Maryland woman says a fake courier came to her door demanding payment. It's one of the busiest times of year for delivery drivers. You place your order and hope it arrives on time. So when a message like this pops up, you might click before you think.
A delayed package, if you get a notification saying you need to cover an extra fee, that's typically a big red flag, really common scam.
Renee, who asked us not to use her last name after this experience, knows to ignore those texts and emails, but she didn't expect someone to take the scam to her front door.
Put me a knocked on the door, my fiance answered, and he said he had a package from Amazon package, and I said, really? So, I thought, what's coming? I didn't order anything. Who sent me something?
The box had an Amazon label, but his actions didn't add up.
He said $9.28. I said, wow, I didn't know they had COD, but no, I didn't order anything. And my fiance looked at the package, my name was on it, and my address. And I told him, well, I didn't order anything, and I don't remember anyone telling me they were sending me anything, so you're gonna have to take that back. I'm not gonna pay for that. And he just took off.
It wasn't the amount, it was the demand. So she called police, who suggested she file a report. Then she called Amazon, who confirmed they don't collect payment at the door in the United States.
An Amazon spokesperson said scammers that attempt to impersonate Amazon put consumers at risk, and we encourage consumers to report suspected scams.
Take a breath, pause, and go directly to the shipping provider with the tracking number that you're provided straight from the retailer that you purchased from.
Renee knows someone might pay a small fee just to see what's in the box, but she warns this was no surprise gift, just a scam.
If it's a present, then normally your family would pay for that postage. You know, who wants to receive a present and then have to pay for it? Sure. So, no.
And a tip to stay organized: save all of your order confirmation emails in a separate folder. So if you get a message you're unsure about, you can go back to the original email and verify tracking from there. With your 12 Scams of Christmas, I'm Mallory Safaste.
Well, hey there, and happy Monday morning, Coastal Bend. I'm meteorologist Stephen Jones. Taking a live look out at our USS Lexington Cam, thanks to First Community Bank. A good amount of cars heading out for that Monday morning commute as we get closer to 7 a.m. Pretty chilly out there at 49 degrees and with winds out of the north about 13 miles an hour, but over 1/10 of an inch of rain we've picked up. I'm going to take every drop we can get because we've still got about 10 1/4 inches to go to make up for the 2025 rainfall deficit so far. Looking at those temperatures in your neighborhood, some 40s on the board, 46 to the southwest in Hebbronville, going to be that cool spot currently. 50 there in Port Aransas as well as Alice this morning, with a good amount of cloud cover and some spotty showers out and about as you're getting ready for that Monday morning commute. So just something to plan for. And as we look at that radar, you can see where they've been working through the area have since started to die down just a little bit, but still plenty of greens and even a couple specks of the yellows on the board. Getting a closer look to the Corpus Christi area, our main downpours coming in closer to Rockport currently. So if you're heading out that way, just something to plan for as we're getting ready for that morning commute. But as we head into the afternoon, should start to dry up pretty nicely. So what to expect for today? Mostly cloudy skies pretty much all day, with some of those isolated showers mainly focused this morning, chasing that daytime high around 54 degrees. But of course, this isn't our only rain chance, so I'll go over all the rest of our rain chances and the 7-day forecast coming up in just a bit.
Now, 20 minutes of non-stop news, sponsored by Ewald Kubota.
Hey, welcome back, folks. Thank you so much for joining us for our 20 minutes of nonstop news with the Hoffmans. I'm Brian Hoffman.
And I'm Michelle Hoffman. Of course, folks, we have plenty of neighborhood news for you this Monday morning. But first, we have to check in with meteorologist Stephen Jones to see how the roads are shaping up, especially because a lot of people are probably heading back to work, right? Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning, you guys. Good morning, Coastal Bend. Finally into December already, but November just flew by. And as we're taking a live look out there at our SPID Skycam, you can see more traffic flow starting to flow out there compared to really what we were seeing on Thanksgiving or on Black Friday, but luckily it's flowing nice and smooth. No major slowdowns there on our Skycam. And really, as we take a look at that traffic flow across the entire area, plenty of greens on the board. The perfect way to start off December, if you ask me. So getting into it here, starting off with the Harbor Bridge, good and green if you're heading to or from Portland this morning. Over into Corpus Christi now, Ocean Drive, SPID, Crosstown Expressway, all three coming in the clear. A couple minor slowdowns on Saratoga there as you're getting close to Rodfield and Airline Road. Really the only one you might want to count a couple extra minutes for there. Over into Flower Bluff Drive, pretty good in green, although Waldron Road maybe account for a couple extra minutes on that morning commute. And as we finally work over towards the island as well, plenty of greens, exactly like what we want to see. So really, wherever you're coming from and going to, going to be a good and green morning to head out there and kick off your December.
A small church on the west side say they've won a big battle. On November 18th, City Council made a decision about a bar wanting to open just a few feet from their steps. I'm your neighborhood news reporter Jada Jenkins on the west side with the pastors celebrating their victory.
But we don't need another one, okay? We don't need another bar. We've dealt with several of the bar's patrons entering our sanctuary inebriated and causing a scene.
We have fought hard for our church.
The fight came to City Council when a proposed bar was just 14 feet shy of the city's 300-foot rule that keeps alcohol sales away from churches. The Assistant Director of Development Services told the City Council a variance was requested by the bar owners, but council members denied it.
The church reached out to me and said they did not have any discussion with anyone. So we're essentially going against our own ordinance.
I spoke with Manuel Lewis, president of the board for Alpha y Omega Iglesia de Cristo. He feels because their congregation on Southport Avenue is small, they were overlooked on purpose.
They were going out of their way to try to, sneak in and hope that we wouldn't say anything and hope that we wouldn't notice or that we wouldn't know the city ordinances.
At City Council, Lewis described even more serious problems with previous bars. Customers leaving urine and feces at their doorstep, and even worse.
We've had our vehicles broken into. We've had our sanctuary itself broken into.
Beyond the church, there was also concern for elderly residents living behind the building. Lewis says the neighborhood has no extra parking, and a new bar would only make things worse.
If bars are around this area, they're parking literally in front of our doorstep.
The church has stood in the same spot for over 25 years, and members say protecting it was worth the fight. Patricia Gonzalez is a member of the church who also spoke at the city council meeting. She says the city backing the church, despite losing potential tax revenue, felt like an answered prayer.
It doesn't matter how small you are. It's kind of like a David and Goliath situation.
Pastors say they're not opposed to new businesses. They just want the right kind of development. They say they'll keep an eye out on the property, and they look forward to seeing what comes next. On the West Side, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Jada Jenkins, Chris 6 News.
Jada, thank you so much. For more on her story, head to our website, christv.com. Now, folks, if you're heading home from your holiday weekend today, you might want to check the weather forecast first. Mother Nature could disappoint some travelers who waited out yesterday's traffic and snow. Amy Kiley reports as one winter storm system departs, another is on its heels.
Winter weather continues to hinder travelers coming back from their Thanksgiving destinations. Forecasters say a new storm system is taking shape today in the Mid-South, near where Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas meet. They predict snow in much of the northeastern U.S. this week and heavy rain south of there. This system follows a previous one that snarled travel over the weekend.
Winter weather can always be impactful, but this is definitely one for the books for sure.
Indiana police say 45 vehicles were in this pileup Saturday with no major injuries. Delta says no one was hurt when this plane slid off an Iowa runway yesterday. FlightAware reports roughly 12,000 delays and 1,000 U.S. cancellations yesterday. It says Chicago's O'Hare Airport was the hardest hit.
We were pushed back because it was delayed for a couple of hours. Then we were able to get another flight. That one was delayed like another 30 minutes to an hour.
FlightAware says the busiest airport in the world racked up delays too.
The concern is that the flight would be canceled. If it's delayed, we've got some family here who's on standby to come back and pick us up. So we'll see how it goes.
That's even though it's in Atlanta, which did not get snow.
The aviation system is really interconnected, and it can have a domino effect. So you can be outrightly impacted even without being in that area that's seeing weather.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Well, hey there and happy Monday, Coastal Bend. I'm meteorologist Stephen Jones. Taking a live look out at our Snoopy's Piers Skycam thanks to Matthew CCAC. Plenty of cloud cover on the board with some rain out there as well. Not here on Snoopy's Skycam right now, but 51 degrees and those winds out of the north over 15 miles an hour. Definitely making it a chilly start out there as you're heading out for your Monday morning. What to expect for our Monday, though, that rain shower activity should be ending into the afternoon hours really as we're rolling out for lunch. In the wake of that cold front, still going to be holding on to quite a bit of a northerly breeze into today as well as to tomorrow, going to be keeping us nice and cool, and really those temperatures only going to be chasing the low to mid 50s for some of those daytime highs, so feeling quite a bit more like the season as we're rolling into December today. For our current temperature sitting at 51 over there in Ingleside, 48 over in Robstown this morning. Kingsville coming in at 49 degrees, and as we work our way off to the northwest, Cotulla rounding us out at about 49 this morning as well, so nice chilly air out there. And as we get a good look at some of our neighborhoods out there with the Chris 6 Neighborhood Weather Network. On the south side, those temperatures even cooler, coming in at 42 over there in Southampton Drive this morning. 44 and 43, the common number for most of us. 44 there on San Benito Drive, 43 over in Garden Court this morning. And up in Beeville, even seeing a couple of those 30s make their return to the board. 39 for Beeville and 38 going to be that cool spot off towards Farm to Market 504 this morning. For our dog walking forecast today, we've got Thor and Celeste here ready to go on their walk around around the block right here in Nueces County. And as we're looking at those temperatures for them, 51 going to be the temperature by 10 a.m., 52 by about the noon hour. Only another degree or two more to go as we head towards those daytime highs into the afternoon, with winds out of the north 10 to 15 miles an hour as well. But with some of those gusts upwards of 20 miles an hour, even picking up just a little bit as we head into the overnight hours, picking up towards 20 to 25 miles an hour. Either way, I think it's going to be a little bit lighter than what we saw yesterday. In terms of the upper level pattern, though, as we go into the middle of the week, that's where I've got my eyes on our next front, with that trough of low pressure working in by Thursday. Going to make us nice and cool as we head into Friday, and a bit of a roller coaster effect on our forecast highs. Luckily, most of the next 10 days going to be below average in the blues, so looking like we could see a good amount of 60s into the area as we go through the next few days and really over the next 10 days. For the current Doppler radar, you're seeing the spotty activity that we've been dealing with all morning that has since worked off a little bit to the north, but going to continue to see this spotty activity working until about that lunchtime hour. Before then, we start to dry out as we head into the afternoon, but we're going to take every drop we can get because we've still got about 10 and almost a half inches to go to make up for the 2025 rainfall deficit. But luckily, there is some more chances on the board as we head into Wednesday through Friday, with that cold front dropping us back into the upper 50s for daytime highs heading into Friday.
After hours of calling, texting, streaming, and scrolling through social media, we all want a smartphone battery that'll last. So, in the battle of the batteries, do the new iPhones live up to the hype?
Outside the Verizon store, Jay Hunter faced a familiar dilemma. Whether to squeeze another year out of his old iPhone or upgrade.
If the battery gets to the point where I hop out of the car and it doesn't even last an hour, then I'm going to replace the battery.
Well, there's a lot of talk about AI. All people want is really good battery life on their phones.
CNET's Patrick Holland and his team put the newest iPhone batteries to the test with hours of streaming, gaming, and scrolling through social media. The iPhone 17 Pro Max was the top performer, losing just 9% of battery life in a 3-hour video test.
Apple put a bigger battery in the phone, so there's a bigger gas tank.
He says even the slimmed-down iPhone Air can last all day, depending on usage.
Someone who uses their phone all the time, who's online a lot, is that going to cut it for them? Probably not.
In CNET testing, the newest iPhone batteries outlasted previous versions and lasted longer than Apple's competitors. Some Androids aren't far behind, though.
One that I particularly like is the Samsung Galaxy S25 series, and you don't even need to get the most expensive one, but the most expensive one has the biggest battery.
If the battery is the only issue with your current phone, Holland suggests a battery replacement. He says keep batteries charged longer by lowering your screen's brightness and avoid streaming with a poor cell signal. Vladim Juliants just bought an iPhone 17.
Well, I hear that the battery life is much better.
With a great deal, a new phone could be the answer to your battery issues so you don't waste your money. John Matteries, Scripps News Group.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
All right, so today is Cyber Monday, and it's expected to be another big spending day for consumers. It comes after a record-breaker Black Friday. Despite continued economic uncertainty this holiday season, shoppers turned out in big numbers for Black Friday. U.S. consumers spent a whopping $11.8 billion online Friday, which is a 9% jump from the previous year. That's according to Adobe Analytics. Shoppers also spent $6.4 billion online on Thanksgiving Day.
Millions of SNAP food benefit recipients may soon have to meet new work rules to keep their benefits. The Republican-backed Big Beautiful Bill now requires at least 80 hours of activity each month for a much wider group of people. A Congressional Budget Office report says that will mean 2.4 million fewer people getting benefits on average each month. States are reporting confusion, rushed timelines, and technology systems not ready to implement the change. And as a result, some residents could lose food aid as soon as January. State officials warn the full impact will unfold as recipients hit their next recertification deadlines.
Well, Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with the Ukrainian delegation in Florida Sunday as peace talks to end the war with Russia continue. The work is still being done to hammer out the details of a 28-point plan. It has drawn some criticism, though, for proposing Ukraine make major concessions to Russia. Over the weekend, Secretary Rubio, who is accompanied by Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, focused on reassuring Ukraine that it would be prosperous after the war. The head of Ukraine's Security Council responded by expressing his country's appreciation for any U.S. efforts.
4 people are dead and 11 are injured after a shooting at a child's birthday party in Stockton, California. The ages of those injured range from 8 to 21 years old. 1 of 11 are in critical condition. The condition of the others are not known, and residents and faith leaders held a vigil Sunday night to honor the victims. Authorities are describing the shooting as a targeted attack, and now an urgent manhunt is underway to find the suspect.
And Pope Leo will continue his visit to Lebanon today. This is the first foreign trip of his papacy. The Pope visited Turkey first before flying to Beirut. It comes at a tense time in the region. Pope Leo says that he's bringing a message of hope to Lebanon's people and hoping to bolster a crucial Christian community in the Middle East. He is fulfilling a promise of Pope Francis in making this trip.
Here at home, construction crews will be working on Norton Street near Castores starting today, and it's all part of the ongoing water infrastructure improvements in the area. The traffic will be down to one-way going westbound between Cambridge Road and Castores, and access to both Sam Houston Elementary School and nearby residences will remain available. Construction is expected to last through February.
And just in time for Christmas, a quiet time with Santa is back over at the mall, giving children who may be sensitive to noise, light, or large crowds a chance to meet jolly old St. Nick in a more relaxed setting. Several families spent their Sunday morning making holiday memories without the usual hustle and bustle of the shopping season. Quiet Time with Santa is designed for children with developmental or physical challenges. The mall opens its doors early with no music and no crowds, creating a calm, sensory-friendly space for photos, smiles, and one-on-one time with Santa.
It's such an awesome experience to be able to come and have this time of inclusion where certain things that could be overstimulating or hard for us, we get to actually have it and experience it in a way that makes him feel so comfortable and so welcomed and be able to just enjoy this time.
And these special visits will continue on December 7th and December 14th from 9 to 11 a.m. You do need a reservation to attend, though.
And just a reminder, folks, Peppermint Lane Holiday Market is taking over downtown this holiday season. You can stop by and support local while shopping this holiday season. And the holiday market will be located in the covered bus terminal area at 702 North Chaparral Street. It will take place every Sunday until December 21st from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. I love how this town always gets ready for the season, you know?
Yeah, they go big. Yeah, we went and stopped by the Christmas tree that was set up over there by the park yesterday. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah, really, really impressive.
I'll definitely need to go out there and check it out because we went to I believe it's Candy Cane Lane and Peppermint Lane. We went checked out both. You know, they've been pretty cool so far. Also, I mean, the A&M Corpus Christi, their lights weren't too bad either.
Oh, yeah.
So plenty of lights out there. I think we're starting to feel more like the season. You know, people are getting into it, and also temperature and the weather is really starting to feel a little bit more like the season as well. Sitting at 47 degrees right now. Here's a live look out at our USS Lexington Cam. Thanks to First Community Bank for this view. Those winds also a little breezy and chilly out of the north, around 13 miles an hour, but the aquarium nice and lit up with plenty of cloud cover out there as we're kicking off our December this Monday morning. Over the past 10 hours, a decent cool down, but not too much, from 52 at 8 p.m. last night down into those upper 40s by this 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. hour. Gonna see if we can try to shave off another degree real quick, but I think we're almost to our morning lows. For what to expect the rest of our Monday, though, the isolated shower activity we have right now should be drying up as we roll into the afternoon, although the northerly breeze not going to be drying up at all. Going to hold on to that into the afternoon as well as tomorrow. Going to keep us nice and cool, though. Not too much to complain about with those daytime highs in the low to mid 50s. So probably keep the jacket with you all throughout our Monday and even into tomorrow. For current temperatures out there, 46 the number up in Beeville for that cool spot, 47 here in town. The same as we work our way over to Alice as we look at Kingsville coming in at 49, and that's going to be the same for Cotulla rounding us off to the northwest this morning. For our dog walking forecast today, we've got Thor and Celeste ready to go on a of walk around the block right here in Nueces County, and the temperatures for them going to be 50 by 9 a.m., 51 by 11 a.m., still only about 52 by that lunchtime hour with winds out of the north 10 to 15 miles an hour, but gusting upwards of 20 miles an hour, even picking up from 20 to 25 miles an hour as we head into the overnight hours tonight, and tomorrow looking pretty breezy as well for us. In terms of the upper level pattern, though, our next cool down already on the way, especially by the time we're heading into that Wednesday and Thursday time frame. You can see this trough of low pressure bearing down on the central United States. That's going to be responsible for our next cold front and our next cool down, causing a bit of a roller coaster effect similar to what we saw last week. Up by Wednesday to about average, then right back down into the 50s by Friday, back up to close to average, if not above average, as we head into Sunday before we start off the second week of December, right back below average with the arrival of our following weather system, potentially putting us into the 60s to start off next week. As we look at our current radar, nice and pretty rainy out there right now as we head into the Corpus Christi area. Luckily, this is going to dry up as we head into the afternoon hours. As we're looking at that 7-day forecast, though, we do have a few more opportunities on the board for rain heading from Wednesday into Thursday with the arrival of our next cold front. But then that roller coaster effect, I mean, it's really around just for the time being, into the 70s, into the 50s, back into the 70s. I mean, it's struggling to pick one right now, but how are y'all feeling about the back and forth?
We get a little bit of everything, so I can't be mad. We just know we need to pay extra attention to you, of course, so that we know what to wear.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much, Stephen. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a great Monday and a fantastic week ahead. I'll see you later.
Bye.